G'day and welcome to my garage.
G'day and welcome to my garage. I'm Peter. In this episode I will be finishing off the machining of the front and back frame. They will then be joined and a bit more machining done to it to get them to the same external radius. What else am I doing? I'm machining the spindle brake hub, which I may have mentioned before is not part of the Gingery, it's not in the Gingery book. The reason I'm doing it is because I need a hub for the spindle brake to brake on. Hub in Gingery's description is part of the worm wheel itself. My worm wheel doesn't have a hub on it that can be machined, so I have to create a hub. But the worm wheel's 25% larger, so it also has a very large, about 22 mil, I think, or 25 mil centre ball, so I can make this hub up to do the spindle brake for the dividing head. I'll also be machining the spindle brake itself, so the hub and the brake I'll be machining in this video. Get rid of those glasses. So built the milling machine and the lathe are in action today. Also the 4-jaw chuck makes an appearance. Quite a handy chuck, I'm glad I made that. So, let's get started. As soon as that stops cutting, I have to stop, because have a look just here. That's the clearance I've got. Probably about 20 thou. Can't go any further. What I'm trying to achieve here is I machined earlier this frame down, but this second frame I hadn't machined down, so I thought I would to make the frames pretty close to each other, which I'm not far off now. I might even just do a couple more passes to pretty it up. Yeah, so this is very difficult to do on this very small machine, because that's 170 mil, so 150 is 6 inches, so I'm just under 6.5 inch diameter. Not bad for a 6-inch lathe, but to be able to cut out here I have to do silly things with it. So this is a massive amount of stick out for a small 10mm bar, boring bar to be precise. And the reason I have to have that much stick out is because of the foot down here. So, and I'm only doing 5 thou cuts at the present moment. I'll continue on and continue to persevere. I haven't changed the adjustment, so that's just a clean up.
Adjust it 5 thou.
Okay, there we go. Gingery has his dividing head with a 5/8 shaft. So and he runs bronze bushings, 5/8 bore with a 3/4 outside diameter. I'm not using bronze bushing. I'll just use Delrin, and I've got some 20mm Delrin. This is a 16mm drill, and I'll just bore that out to fit my 20mm Delrin, and then bore that out to 5/8. So that's the first part. All right. Catch you later. I was going to use some 20mm Delrin for the bushings, but I've decided I'll use 25mm. I haven't got the 25mm Delrin at the moment, but I should have it in about a week. So for the present moment, this thing can come out of the lathe. I'll leave it on the MT3 arbor collet chuck, and I'll just park it to the side and leave it set up, ready to roll when my 25mm Delrin turns up. Yep, I'll just park that off to the side. Well, this is the first time, well actually second time, but the first job has been machined in the new 4-jaw chuck. I've already machined what's being held. I did that with a 4-jaw chuck. Now I've just spun it around, and I'm now machining this down. Now this part is the spindle brake hub. It's not in the book of Gingery, because Gingery talks about using in the dividing head section, Gingery talks about using a 40-to-1 worm and wheel, and I'm using a 50-to-1. So the wheel is not as he described. He describes a hub, a machined hub at that too, being on one face. Well, this doesn't have it. So what I'm going to do is put a hub in, press a hub into the centre of that. That'll be this. Well, it'll be keyed because this is already keyed. So a tight fit, which that shaft is at the moment. And then the brake, spindle brake, will clamp onto this new hub. And I can't remember what's, oh no, it goes on the hub goes on this side, so the spindle brake. This is still to be machined, and the spindle brake will go over the hub on this side. So let's, or might go the other side. Can't remember which way I've drawn it up. Anyhow, neither here nor there. I'll work that out before when I go to assemble it. So let's take this down to, it's only a nominal figure, in my case 48mm. Yep, I'll bring this down to 48, and then that spindle brake will be bored out to 48. We're at 49.7. So I've got 1.7, that's 0.85 radius. Oh, I didn't start off at 0, did I? I still haven't cleared. What have we got? Okay, still 49.3. Let me just clear this stuff. It's working better. Get you out of the way. This chuck takes ages to slow down now. Yep, spot on 48. Now the thickness, so that's 20, 19.72. Just clean the end of that off and that will do. The 4-jaw chuck is still in on the machine, and I need to machine this spindle brake. So I've just set it up with a pointer. It's pretty close. It's a rough casting, so no use putting a dial gauge on there. You notice I'm just using an M6 Allen bolt. The foot wouldn't fit in there. I need actually I need a round post. Yeah, a round post that is that wide, and then just machine some steps in it so I can put it in there closer. But this will do. This will definitely do. So I'll start machining the face of that off. Oh, the lathe tool's not in the right place. Come on. It will just miss. forgot to lock the carry. Not a bad finish. I can go a little bit further. It's a fairly good side finish on the other side. I will machine it off. I'm just thinking about the thickness. I think it was, where's my drawing? $19mm. I don't think I can get a caliper in there. No, very roughly. This is still a nominal figure, so no need to get exact with it. Come on, where am I going to measure this? Here I am talking to you and you weren't turned on. I'll just take a finish pass on this. Now I know that's about 19mm thick now, because I told you when you weren't turned on, and that's a nice finish. So I will now bore this out for the spindle hub. Just slowly pecking away at this ball. $20,000 at a time at the moment. Just better make sure. Yeah, got plenty more to go yet. I'll bring you back when I get towards the end of it a bit. think that will be okay. It will have to be okay, otherwise I've got to cast another hub. Oh well, I don't have to cast one. I've got 50mm stock. Alright. Okay, in the vice at the present moment on the mill is the spindle brake hub. Now that has to engage with the worm wheel, and it's got a keyway, so I'm putting the other half of that keyway in. So we've got to be 3.1mm deep, and it's a 1/4 inch keyway, so it's got to be 6.34 mil wide. Now that's a 4mm cutter. I've dropped it half the distance. I'm in the 3.17, I think it was. No. 3.06, so I'm in the 3mm depth. And let's cut a keyway. Well, the first half of it anything. Power feed, because you don't get any feel for it. I can't go all the way to the end, but I will go until it hits the 6mm shank of this 4mm cutter. Alright, I forgot to turn you back on. That's a good fit. This spindle brake hub, is being held by the spindle brake in the vice. I was thinking there for a while, how am I going to hold this? I thought, I've got the perfect tool. It's the spindle brake itself. Alright, I've got to pull this out now, clean it up. The disadvantage of this is I can't, because of the vice, I can't fit the worm wheel and try the key. That's never going to work, so unfortunately I have to take it out of this now and upset everything to find out if I've got my calculations correct. Alright, I've cleaned this up a bit. I still have a little bit more to go, but it's getting in halfway. So